Coming live from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, is our guest tonight. Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts either through their industry insights and information or simply learning from them. And today we have got Robert Overweg, founder of the Adaptable Mindset program. And we talked to him about how real is the fear of missing out? How do we deal with the fear of missing out? Welcome to the show, Robert.
Yeah, thanks, AJ. Thanks for having me. Wonderful to be here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you, Robert. So you see, there is always this constant fear of missing out something. So people are connected all the time. They want to be connected so that they don't miss out on anything. And that is where people like you are there to help people to have a calm mind, how to keep themselves in focus. But first, Robert, I would like to ask you about your adaptable mindset program, and then we'll focus much more, deeply into the question of how to deal with this fear of missing out sort of stuff that's happening, rising day by day.
Good. You want me to explain a little bit about the Adaptable Mindset program?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah. So what we do is we help people to open up their mindsets again, to find new perspectives, to connect to what they find inspiring, to connect to what energizes them, to be able to live more of a happy, fulfilling life. Because, the thing is, when we go through life with all of the things that happen around us, social media, news, your work, it can really narrow your frame of mind when you just regularly go through life. It can pigeonhole your thinking. So if you're not actively working on expanding your frame of mind, you're probably actively working on narrowing your frame of mind. That's just how the world is currently set up. So we focus on how to expand our mind, how to create mental space, because our world is really stressful as well. There are always things happening. Everything is always trying to attract our attention. So so also how to create a calm mind, how to reduce stress, and also how to update your brain in a sense with new thinking models, so that you will how you act and how you speak into the world is also different and is also more open, because that is probably the main goal, to be more open-minded, to be able to see more possibilities and more opportunities.
Right, right. But then why do we need adaptability? Isn't the change that is happening in society or everywhere? Earlier on, changes used to happen. People used to say, go with the change. Now also some changes are happening. And then you want them to adapt to change or to have a calm mind. Isn't hyperactivity is today's word? Why do you want them to have a calm mind?
Yeah, well, I think you have to have a calm mind, because if you look at data from the United States, you see that people spend 4 hours and 20 minutes on their phone. So they're completely, almost constantly distracted, and then they work as well. So they hardly have any time to sort of think for themselves. So we've got all of these challenges that railroad our thinking. It really distracts us to things which might not really be relevant for us. So how do you adapt to these kind of situations? You need to be able to create mental space. You need to be able to reduce stress and do these sort of things, so you can more follow your own path and do the things that you want to do in your life.
Okay. So, see, Robert, the challenge is today, and that is where our question is, that people have to stop themselves from being distracted and focus on the things. But they fear, suppose you are not on a particular platform, then you think you will miss out on something there. Again, if you are not on social media, you may miss out on some important information or post. And then everybody is vying for your attention. So how do you balance, how do you stay ahead in this world which is so much tech driven, and at the
Mhm.
same time be focused on yourself as a human being, to keep your mind calm and focus and live your life the way a human being should do? How do you advise people? What do you advise people in this sort of a backdrop?
Yeah, that's such a fantastic question, AJ. So a little bit of background about me. So I work in the technology space as well. So I help large organizations with their digital transformation. So I'm at the forefront of technology. At the same time, I know that if I interact too much with Twitter, Facebook, actually, I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on those platforms. I don't even watch mainstream news. So I try to develop my own thoughts because what everyone is broadcasting towards me, that's not necessarily beautiful, deep, valuable thoughts. It's just stuff that people broadcast into the world. So there's a difference between like superficial fluff, things that just want to grab your attention so that they can get a few more clicks, so that they can get a few hits from advertisement. And there's a difference between that and focusing on things that truly inspire you, that truly push the envelope, and that expand your frame of mind. So there's a difference in what you consume. And I think you should be aware what really contributes to your well-being and to your ability to develop different perspectives, and what is just noise and what is just trying to grab your attention.
Right. So let's take it today's time. A person 25 years old, 30 years
Mhm.
old is into a job or looking for a job, has to be connected with professional as well as personal people.
Mhm.
Now there is so much of information overload. How do you keep your sanity? And that is where the term that is very modern, fear of missing out, FOMO as they
Mhm.
call it.
Mhm.
How do they balance it? How do you,
Yeah.
what do you suggest with the knowledge that you share with your clients, with the people that you deal with? How does
Mhm.
a 25-year, 30-year-old person benefit out of your knowledge bits?
Yeah, the interesting thing is you see from people who have achieved beautiful things, highly scientific discoveries, new technological developments like the founding fathers of artificial intelligence, the people who invented antibiotics. They all have a space where they play, where they explore. Einstein, for an example, he went sailing for 4 hours straight. You know, all of these people create space. And in our current day society, there is hardly any space. So you are being lived by your Facebook, by your Instagram. That is taking over your life. So it might be wise to think of, what do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish in life? And what things do I need to get on that path. And does Instagram contribute to that? Or is it just like a superficial thing? But of course, the pool of all of this technology is very, very strong. It is made, it is made to make you addicted. So what I advise people is to at least when you wake up, waking up starts in the evening actually. So put your phone on flight mode in the evening when you wake up. Don't start reading messages from your friends or from other people because these are already outside information. First you need to process what you did during the evening, process your dreams, process a little bit of the day, and then start doing the things that you want to do. Maybe create like a list of things that you want to do. Maybe you want to go for a walk, maybe you want to connect to nature, maybe you want to look at art, things that really nurture and nourish the soul. And if you do more of that, you will get more of an open mind. You'll be more able to find different perspectives. And if you go more into the technology aspect, if you do that too often, it will distract you, but also it will almost feels like you're out of breath, right? Like after you went for a long run, it's like your breath is superficial and your thoughts are superficial as well. So yeah, you need to be able to create space for big ideas. And what we also hear from organizations is that few people have critical thinking skills. So few people can think for themselves. That is a large issue, but that is also due to our social media consumption and how our media and technology works. Because we don't think for ourselves anymore. We are just dragged into our filter bubbles and then we do more of the same. So we hardly ever challenge like the status quo or the things that we see, because yeah, it's just so superficial.
Right, right, Robert. So the first thing I get is that one must try to create space for themselves in their minds, in their daily lives, for whatever they want to do, and
Hmm.
they should not rush to the phone, especially when they wake up in the morning. That should not be the first thing. What else? This is what people keep on listening. It's difficult also.
Yeah.
It's the lure of those mediums, especially
Hmm.
social media. But
Yeah.
perhaps some people will be able to do this for some time, maybe 15 minutes,
Hmm.
20 minutes, or maybe a couple of hours. Sometimes I've
Yeah.
also succeeded for a couple of hours, but many a times you just want to see what has happened overnight.
Yeah.
But what else can one do? Can you think of a few other points that people can keep in mind? Some tips people can just keep in mind and then make their life better, more focused, and remove the fear of missing out.
Yeah, yeah. So the interesting thing is when you sort of let go of you just try it for a while, the fear of just try to miss out and see what happens. So I had the same thing in the beginning. So people were saying things to me on Facebook, but it wasn't on Facebook anymore. Yeah, you miss out on a few things, but you will also have more happiness, be more connected to your friends, have more real conversations. You live life more instead of that you help Facebook become bigger and help their shareholder value. So what you can also do is just start turning off your notifications. So that when you get a message, that it just doesn't pop up in your screen and that you are instantly distracted, because you will make confetti of your brain and confetti of your time. But I think you need more space, and also you contemplate on what your goals are, and what you want to do, and yeah, discuss with yourself if the things that you're doing, if they contribute to that, and if not, then yeah, most likely you need to seek inwards, but also seek into the world. How you can service the world, how you can help the world, and how you can step into that role. Otherwise,
Right.
man, your life might be over before you know it. You could even get hit by a bus, and then what have you done the last couple of days? Scrolled on Instagram. Come on. Life is so
Right.
much more.
I love the point that you said. Try to miss out. I don't think even that is missing out. You are gaining out of that, isn't it? Actually,
Yeah.
you miss out on something if something is happening. Nothing is happening actually, and you still have
Mhm.
that fear that you are going to miss it out. So
Yeah.
that's a very nice point. Uh, I've sometimes felt that if I don't pick up a call, which I many times don't, then maybe
Mhm.
I'll just miss out on a call for somebody calling me and trying to hand me $100 million. But no such phone call has ever come.
Yeah.
Forget about $100 million. Forget about $1 million. Not
Yeah.
even $100, Robert. So
Mhm.
I get your point, and I'm sure people will keep in their minds that to miss out is okay, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, my phone, I can't be called. Like everything is on silent, and I work with like these high-profile clients. But when I tell them why I do it, because I want to focus on deep work. I want to create high-quality content, so I can't just be constantly disturbed. And we also know actually, if you're able to focus more and connect to what you find meaningful in your work, you can become 500% more effective because you can get into flow states. That's research by McKinsey. They did that for 10 years with a large group of executives. So, you know, all of the data, all of the insights show us that we need to have space, that we need to have undisturbed time. Yet everyone, but it's also we also go towards our phone because it's a habit. So you should also try to override your habit with a different habit. That also helps. And also, we grab our phone when we are bored, for an example. But boredom is a beautiful thing to have, because when you're bored, your subconscious brain can come up with new ideas and can come up with new solutions, and we sort of lost that gift that nature and the universe gave us.
So will you have a calm mind once you create space for yourself and when you try to miss out?
I think you can also do other things, and I look at this on like a scale, and if this scale sits from 1 to 100, then I think if you are like 30% agitated, then it's very beneficial to do some meditation, breathing exercises. If you are at 40, 50%, maybe you should go for like a 30-minute walk, like 30 minutes walk.
30 minutes.
If you're really agitated, then you maybe should go for a run or should do kickboxing, so there's, depending on where you sit at the scale of that you feel like life is too much for you, then often getting the body moving is a very good idea. And also, but you know what works for you, right? So everyone who's listening knows how they feel after a specific workout, and you just feel like the burden and the stress falling away from you when you do such a workout or when you're done. It's just a matter of making it part of your habit. Your habit should be like 3 to 4 times a week a workout, because you need a mental space. You need to reduce stress because the world is very stressful. So yeah, you need to take care on all aspects. So on inspiration, on mental space, but also on the mind and body.
Right, right. And so, how do you develop mental flexibility? Are these the ways you can develop mental flexibility? Is
Yeah.
that what you focus on, or is there something more to it?
100%. No, these are a few things. So we connect to all the things in life that make life wonderful. So art, poetry, design, games. It can be whatever you want. Whatever you are naturally attracted to, whatever draws your curiosity, and keep on exploring that. Keep on pulling on that thread and never stop in your life unless you're just bored with it. Because what I see in society is that people start with something that they love or like, but then when they do one or two experiments in that domain and they fail, that they stop. And that when you do that, when you do that often enough, you're not really connected anymore to what gives you energy. What expands your mind. So that is also one thing that, yeah, I felt like I had to share.
Yeah, sure.
Um, yeah, and then we also have how you approach the world. So we have specific mental models. So most people, when change happens, they will say, "Yeah, it will never happen. Like artificial intelligence will never take over my job." So you could take that approach, but you could also just use a different vocabulary and say things like, "Hey, let's try it on for size. Let's see how would the world look like if that would happen. How would it impact me? How would it impact my family?" Just have these more of these thought experiments, and use more words like "how might we." How might we? These kind of phrases, they open up the world more and allow your mind to find possibilities instead of, yeah, just cutting things off at the root and saying that it will never happen. So that is also what we invite people to do. In a sense, you're brainwashing yourself, right? You're just using different vocabulary, and the words that you speak out into the world, that creates your reality as well. So you need to be conscious of that.
Right, right, Robert. See, if I understand, you have applied this, this adaptable mindset program in more than uh, more than 300 companies, for Fortune 500 companies, uh, top companies. Now, how do you tell them to balance out? These are big companies,
Mhm.
and you tell their employees in front of their bosses to have a calm mind and to
Mhm.
go take a walk, actually telling them that
Yeah.
telling them to
Yeah.
tell their boss, you go and take a walk,
Yeah.
actually, in that sense. So how does
Yeah.
it, why do they call you,
But
why do they
y-
feel the need,
you
and how
know,
are these companies so evolved in your part of the world,
hmm
and which is
yeah.
not happening in other parts of the world?
hmm Yeah, I think what we see across the board at many different organizations is that people have lost their creativity, have lost their energy. Like these 2 years of lockdown did not really help. Also, we see that at universities, like 24% of students occasionally have the thought that they would not like to wake up. So they would not mind being dead. So one in four people. And when you look at organizations, only 20% of people are engaged with their work. So imagine trying to do something new, trying to make change happen, creating a new product, doing anything. But 80% of the people, they don't give a shit. So you need to engage people, and especially in this world where everything is so demanding, you need to take space for that. You need to take care of yourself. And if we look, for an example, at Sundar Pichai, the CEO from Google, he takes time for walks. He takes time to read. He takes time to do nothing. Same with Steve Jobs. So everyone who is smart and bright, Elon Musk as well, all inventors, all creatives, all artists take time for those kind of things. Yet we are all asked to work like, yeah, almost like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but like factory workers, and we're just chugging away at things, and but we're burning ourselves up. And speaking of factory workers, for example, Michelin, also, the tire manufacturer,
Yeah, yeah.
they also took this different approach where people could come up with their own targets, created more autonomy. People could say when they were going to work and when they were not going to work. So you do see that this type of change is slowly but gradually happening and working.
Yes, and people deserve to have a good life, a good
100%.
mindset. And it's
Yeah.
it's nice to see that companies that you have, you know, try to inculcate your program into those companies where they have called you for, to talk to their employees and all. That's a
Hmm.
welcome sign, and I'm sure bit by bit more companies understand this, the necessity of making sure that their employees are happy and do have a life which is much more closer to being human, and rather than just use you being connected all the time. But
Yeah.
tell me, Robert, how did you are a tech person mostly, and you also at the same time have developed a program which is telling people to also go have a life. Now, how did this happen? How did you come to this? And I'm very happy to see this, that a tech there is a tech person who is telling others to have a break from tech so that you can use tech for the betterment of people and the world, and in a better sense actually what tech was designed for. I will come to the international. You are an international speaker. You have,
Hmm.
spoken at so many places. But first, this part of your, journey as to
Hmm.
how you have realized this importance, and when did you realize, and how did it all start?
Yeah. So I do have to say that I also have an art background and a design background. So I always combined art, design, and technology in my life, and that always helped me to, yeah, get these different perspectives and made me valuable as well for other companies. So already when I was quite young, after the art academy, people started knocking on my door that they needed design, they needed a different perspective. And in these larger organizations, almost everyone thought the same. They're very homogeneous groups with little critical thinking, little creativity. And what I actually saw when I started to work with these organizations, that almost everyone is unhappy, and there's just so little ability to evolve, and people are so stuck in their positions. And I saw that, like I said before, at these universities as well, and across the board people are so unhappy. So I was like, dude, this is not this is not a beautiful life. How do we connect to meaning? If you want people to change, then ask them how to create the right environment for them, where they can flourish, where they can evolve, where they can learn on their own. Ask them what they want to do. And all of these things seem very logical to me. you know just go to the root cause of issues and then solve them there, instead of solving the symptoms, because that is what we what we normally do. And then, yeah, I just started experimenting. I took on a partnership with the University of Applied Sciences in Amsterdam. We created like a program, and we had like a couple of thousand people go through the online program, and we started to learn, what works, what helps people to calm down, what helps people to open up their mind. And then we started to go to organizations, and then we started to learn, how to better integrate it in these organizations. And it just, yeah, following your intuition, looking at what the world needs, and then just, yeah, going forward, iterating, and yeah, using sort of all of the knowledge which is readily available, and start applying that.
Do tell us about that photograph thing, photographs and computer games. And initially,
Mhm.
people thought that it was sort of a silly thing.
Yeah.
Do tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so when I was at the art academy, I started taking photographs in computer games. And yeah, almost everyone thought that was pretty silly, even at
What
the
is
art
it? What
academy.
is it? Sorry to interrupt you, but what is it taking photographs in computer games?
Yeah,
For a
so
person like
imagine games like Half-Life 2, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5, first-person shooter games, or games where you can roam around. And I had the idea that these games, this was in 2007, by the way, so it was a very long while ago. And I thought, hey, these places are actually pretty cool. So why don't I just take screenshots, photographs in these games, and I exhibit them? And because I saw them sort of as like a new public space. And then a lot of people thought I was crazy, even at the art academy. But then I think, like, because I kept going on with the project, I kept evolving, I kept iterating, and after a few years, I started to create more beautiful work. Like in the beginning, the work was shit, was really bad. But first you need to make the shitty stuff before you can make the more beautiful stuff. And then I think 5 years later, my work got picked up by the media, got the interview on the BBC, and then it got picked up by museums all around the world. And yeah, they started to fly me in to all of these different continents, from South Korea to Berlin to so. And that had to do with following your curiosity and just sticking with it, even if a lot of people around you don't understand it yet. And then keep on evolving, keep on iterating. And that, I think, that is these lessons we also apply in the adaptable mindset method. We find what inspires you, what works for you, and then how you can keep on building on that so you can create your own path in life. I think that's important, that more people should do what they are passionate about, because then we will get higher creative and higher innovative output.
right, right. That's wonderful. More people should, you know, stick to what makes them curious and try to do something that makes them happy. Now, my last question to you, Robert, is you are a sought out international speaker. You have spoken at MIT, the European Commission, and you speak to them about how to positively use technology for the betterment of people and the world. What do you mean by this? What do you tell them there? And do
Yeah.
share some of it here, please.
Yeah. So one of the things that we spoke about at MIT, for example, but also at the European Commission. So we did a lot of research on virtual reality, and this was already, I think, maybe like 8 years ago. We started doing that for multiple years, because virtual reality is, of course, very engaging. It's very immersive. It can feel like it's real, and you can also use it to distract people from when they are ill
Right,
from pain. So we created a lot of experiences which helped therapeutic treatments, with helped um, caring for wounds and changing bandages. When you put on such a virtual reality headset, we saw a decrease in pain of 60 to 70%. So you don't need painkillers, you don't need opioids, and you won't get addicted to these kind of things. So there are all of these beautiful things that we can do with technology instead of just
right,
distracting us.
right, right.
Um, and in many many different domains, there are these possibilities. There's also this game which helps kids to reduce the effects of ADHD just by playing a game, because you get more focused, you get more calm. And yeah, I think these kind of things are beautiful. We should try to shed more light on, yeah, how we can, yeah, heal ourselves, make ourselves better. It's like digital medicine, and that's also what the adaptable mindset program is. It's we are brainwashing ourselves with different perspectives, and we can do that through these digital means. And you can, like I said, you can choose your own path in such a thing because it is digital, and that is also unique when it comes to a learning experience, because most learning experience, especially in a classroom, it's just broadcasting to everyone the same message. But I think like learning and your development should be way more personalized and focused on what your needs are and what you want to develop.
Right, Robert. Well said. Digital medicine. I like that term. I'll
Mhm.
use it and use
Yeah,
it
good.
perhaps in the description also, description of YouTube. But this is
Okay.
a nice good technology, or you can the better good use of a technology. You can actually uh, make
Yeah,
lives better, make the world a better place.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I have a few more, if I may add. So on our website, we also have a few tools which help you with writing. If you want to write like a text, there's like this AI that can be like your sparring partner.
okay,
There are tools which can help you for video editing,
okay,
which makes video editing easier. So there are all of these beautiful things that you can, yeah, start applying today to really speed up your own business. Or if you want to build an app, you don't need to be a developer anymore. You can also use like new no-code tooling. And yeah, I think especially for the listeners who have an idea to start a company, build a website, or these kind of things, that a lot of it is really easy now to do. And if you just know about what technology is available, then yeah, in a few days or in a few weeks, you can already have like a company or a prototype ready. And so there are a lot of, yeah, empowering technology. So you don't need entire organizations anymore, but you can almost do it, yeah, by yourself.
absolutely, absolutely, and. Uh, your advice, Robert, to create space for yourself. And there is no harm in missing out. In fact, missing out is a good thing many a
Yeah,
times in today's world.
100%. Yeah, you need to be able to develop your own thoughts and create space for what you want to do. Yeah, or stick with the old thing. If that was working for you, then please keep on doing that. Right.
Right, right. I take these three things with me, and I'm sure a lot of people will take it with them. Is to create space for yourself, to give some space to your mind so that it can come out with good things, and miss out. It does not matter. You matter to yourself. And the digital medicine part, good technology can be also used in good things. With this, on this note, Robert, it's a wrap on this edition of the KJ Masterclass. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
indeed.